This is the most apocalypse-ready apartment on 6 wheels in automotive history. Most car manufacturers are out here stressing about leg space, but Toyota, well, they've been busy cooking up a literal fortress. This is the 2026 Toyota 6X6 Camper, the 6-legged beast architecture. When you look at a standard 4-wheel drive truck, you are seeing a vehicle designed for the weekend warrior who occasionally hits a dirt trail to find a decent camping spot. But the 2026 Toyota 6X6 Camper is playing a completely different game, essentially laughing at the concept of traditional terrain. By adding a third powered axle, Toyota has effectively created a machine that refuses to acknowledge the existence of obstacles like deep mud or loose sand dunes. This isn't just a Hilux or a Tundra with some extra metal welded to the back. It is a ground-up reimagining of what an expedition vehicle should be. The extra set of wheels provides a massive increase in the contact patch, meaning the ground pressure is spread out so thin that this beast can practically walk on water, or at least it can crawl over silt and swampy marshes that would swallow a standard overland rig whole. The engineering required to sink 3 axles without turning the drivetrain into a pile of metal shavings is nothing short of a mechanical heist. The aftermath of this engineering madness is a platform that feels more like a mountain goat than a 5-ton motorhome. Because the power is distributed intelligently across all 6 wheels, you don't get that frantic wheel spin that usually digs a heavy truck into an early grave. It just grips and goes. Most of the credit goes to the updated TerrainIQ system, which uses sensors to monitor the load on each individual tire and adjust torque delivery in milliseconds. It is the kind of high-level awareness that makes you feel like an off-road god, even if you have never driven on anything rougher than a gravel driveway. The sheer aura of this thing is enough to make every other vehicle at the trailhead look like a toy. It stays living rent-free in the minds of anyone who values actual capability over just looking the part. This is the ultimate flex for the overlanding community, proving that you can carry an entire luxury suite into the middle of nowhere without needing a rescue helicopter to get you back out. The hybrid heart of the monster. But having 6 wheels is completely useless if you don't have the muscle to turn them, and this is where Toyota really decided to go off the rails. They didn't just throw in a dusty old diesel and call it a day, they went for the high-tech iForce Max twin-turbo V6 hybrid system. We are talking about 500 horsepower and enough torque to pull a small apartment building off its foundation. The electric motor is sandwiched between the engine and the 10-speed transmission, providing instant dopamine in the form of low-end grunt that traditional internal combustion engines can only dream of. When you are trying to climb a vertical rock face with a full kitchen and a king-size bed on your back, that instant torque is the difference between making it to the top and rolling backward into a ravine. What makes this setup an absolute game changer is the efficiency and the silent operation. Most heavy-duty campers sound like a tractor factory when they are idling, but this hybrid monster can crawl through a quiet campsite or a pristine forest in near total silence. It is a pure display of modern engineering that addresses the biggest flaw of traditional RVs, which is their thirst for fuel. By using the hybrid system to recapture energy during braking and using the electric motor to assist during heavy loads, Toyota has managed to give this beast a range that makes cross-continent expeditions actually feasible. You are getting the kind of power that usually belongs in a supercar, but it is tuned for the slow, methodical destruction of off-road trails. The physics-defying suspension. Navigating a massive 6-wheeled house through a forest usually results in a ride quality that feels like being inside a washing machine full of bricks. To solve this, the 2026 Camper utilizes an adaptive air suspension system that is essentially black magic. It allows the driver to adjust the ride height on the fly, lifting the entire chassis for maximum ground clearance when things get hairy, or slamming it down for better stability and aerodynamics on the highway. Each of the 6 wheels has its own independent airbag and sensor suite, meaning the truck can level itself perfectly even if you are parked on the side of a mountain. This is a massive win for anyone who has ever tried to sleep in a camper that was tilted at a 5-degree angle, which is basically an exercise in frustration. The way this system handles high-speed washboard roads is where the real magic happens. Usually, a heavy truck will start to vibrate and skip across the surface, but the 6x6 setup combined with the air suspension just soaks it all up. It is like the truck is breathing with the terrain rather than fighting against it. You can maintain speeds that would destroy the suspension of a lesser vehicle, all while your coffee stays perfectly still in the cup holder. This level of refinement is what happens when a company with decades of Land Cruiser heritage decides to throw the entire parts bin at a single project. The 5-star Apocalypse Suite. But while the mechanical bits are enough to make any gearhead drool, the interior is where the 2026 Toyota Camper truly starts glazing its owners. Stepping through the side door is like entering a high-end Manhattan loft that just happens to be bolted to a 6-wheel drive chassis. We are talking about premium leather, real wood trim, and an attention to detail that you would expect from a Lexus. There is zero compromise here. Toyota managed to fit a fully functional kitchen with an induction cooktop, a smart fridge that probably knows your grocery list better than you do, and a compact oven that can actually handle a roast. It is a far cry from the cramped, plastic-filled interiors of most mass-produced campers that feel like they were designed in the 80s. The smart space utilization is a pure masterclass in design. The dining area is not just a place to eat, it is a modular workstation that can convert into a second sleeping area in seconds. In the back, you have a fixed king-size bed that sits under a massive panoramic skylight, allowing you to stare at the stars from the middle of a desert without leaving your climate-controlled bubble. The ambient lighting is fully adjustable, and the entire cabin is so well insulated that you could be in the middle of a sandstorm and not hear a peep. It creates an atmosphere of total serenity that is a sharp contrast to the rugged, aggressive exterior. The digital command center. If you are going to venture into the middle of nowhere, you need a way to stay connected, and Toyota has turned this camper into a literal mobile command center. The dashboard is dominated by a massive 15-inch touchscreen that looks like it was ripped out of a futuristic jet. This isn't just for playing music, it is the brain of the entire vehicle. It controls everything from the tire pressures and differential locks to the internal temperature and the water filtration system. It even has integrated satellite internet, meaning you can join a video call while you are deep in the Alaskan wilderness. The level of tech integration here is an absolute heist, making every other infotainment system on the market feel like a calculator from the 90s. What really sets this apart is the smart home integration. You can monitor the entire vehicle from your phone, checking the battery levels of the onboard lithium system, or viewing the 360-degree security cameras from the comfort of your tent or a nearby hiking trail. It even has an AI-driven terrain recognition system that suggests the best driving modes based on the ground it sees through the forward-facing cameras. It is like having a professional off-road spotter built into the software of the car. This tech doesn't just make the drive easier, it makes it safer. The emergency satellite communication system ensures that even if you are outside of cell range, help is only a button press away. The solar-powered energy heist. Running all that high-tech gear requires a massive amount of electricity, and Toyota solved the power problem by turning the entire roof into a solar farm. The integrated solar panels feed into a high-capacity lithium battery bank, allowing the camper to stay off-grid for weeks at a time without needing to run the engine. This is the holy grail for overlanders who want to escape the noise and pollution of traditional campsites. You can run the air conditioning, the induction stove, and all your electronics entirely on sunlight. It is a sustainable loop that feels like you are cheating the system. When you combine this with the high-capacity water tanks and a multi-stage filtration system, you have a vehicle that is essentially a self-sustaining island on wheels. The unmatched safety shield. While everyone loves to talk about the power and the luxury, the 2026 6x6 is also a literal safety vault. Toyota has packed this thing with their latest safety suite, but they have tuned it specifically for the unique challenges of a 6-wheeled monster. The adaptive cruise control and lane keeping assist works seamlessly even when the truck is fully loaded, taking the stress out of long highway stretches. But the real standout is the 360-degree camera system, which is a necessity for a vehicle this size. It provides a bird's-eye view that makes navigating tight trails or crowded parking lots surprisingly easy. It is like playing a video game where you have a perfect view of every corner of your vehicle. Beyond the electronic nannies, the physical structure of the camper is built like a fortress. It features a reinforced exo cage and ballistic-rated glass options for those who are planning to travel through more, shall we say, spicy parts of the world. The underbody is completely armored with high-strength steel skid plates, protecting the vital hybrid components and the complex drivetrain from rogue rocks. Toyota even included a built-in fire suppression system and an emergency locator beacon. It is the kind of over-engineering that gives you peace of mind when you are hundreds of miles from the nearest paved road. The high-stakes price of freedom. Obviously, a machine that can conquer the apocalypse while serving you a chilled drink isn't going to be cheap. While the official numbers are still being whispered in corporate boardrooms, the expected price point puts this firmly in the luxury toy category for the elite. You are looking at an investment that rivals a high-end real estate property, but the value proposition is simple. You are buying the ability to go anywhere and do anything without compromise. It is a vehicle that combines the reliability of a Land Cruiser, the luxury of a private jet, and the capability of a military transport. For the serious explorer or the collector who wants the absolute best, the cost is secondary to the experience. The 2026 Toyota 6X6 Camper is more than just a new model. It is a statement of intent. It shows that Toyota isn't content with just being the most reliable brand on the road, they want to be the most daring. They have taken the growing overlanding trend and pushed it to its absolute limit, creating a vehicle that defies categorization. It is a truck, a home, a laboratory, and a fortress all rolled into one six-wheeled package. Whether it ends up parked in a high-end garage in Dubai or covered in mud in the Australian outback, its presence is undeniable. It is a pure dopamine hit for anyone who has ever looked at a map and wondered what lies beyond the last paved road.